The year is 1991. A small family has just purchased a cabin set back amongst the redwoods of the Russian River. The veneer of a charming vacation town has hooked yet another family into the awaiting terror hidden just beyond the guise of a small town. The cabin sat atop the ashes of a previous house and the alleged bones of the previous family. This was no ordinary cabin. It was an evil cabin. It was the Guerneville cabin.
So what you're about to hear is a true story. It's all true. It all happened to me. I'm a skeptic. Even though I'm a psychic and I work as a psychic, I'm a skeptic. It takes a lot to convince me, especially of paranormal activity. My parents had inherited a little bit of money, and they wanted to buy a house to retire in for when they retired. And my dad had grown up along the Russian River in California, so his family would always spend summers there. When we were kids, we would spend summers there in my aunt's cabin, and my parents thought, okay, well, it's beautiful there, let's retire there. It's heavily wooded, and it's the redwoods, so it's trees that go for millions and millions of miles. It's very dense. My parents were looking for something, I don't know why, way back in the woods. So they end up finding this house. It was a little brown house, and I hated it on sight. And it's up this creepy road. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's not close to the river. It's not close to town. Very creepy vibe. And the house itself was just real dark. So you have to understand, we're in the woods. It's blotting out the sun. Once the two of you are alone in the house, or it's just one of you alone in the house, you realize how creepy it is. Then we find out there used to be another house next door. On the same lot, on the same property. It was in our quote-unquote backyard, which is just a dirt lot with lots of redwoods in it, sort of cleared, but not really. There used to be a house there, burnt to the ground. There's nobody in the room next to mine. Nobody there. And the first night I hear a couple of weird noises, I think, okay, it's mice. Second night, same. Third night, same. After about a week, I'm laying in bed and I hear what can only be described as person noises. I hear one of the dresser drawers open, and then I hear another one open, and then I hear another one open. You'll see a shadow out of the corner of your eye, you look, but there's nothing there. That happened a lot. You'd see movement. You'd see a person walking way too fast to be a person in front of the door. But there's nobody there. You're in the house alone. All the windows face the woods. I mean, there were woods everywhere. It was 360 woods. But there were woods behind our house, and they were the darkest. It feels like somebody's watching us from the woods. It feels like something's watching us from out there. So we started closing everything. The minute the sun started to go down, everything got closed. All the curtains got closed, everything. And we had huge windows, big sliding glass doors. So we just closed everything because it really felt like something was watching us. It didn't feel good though. It didn't feel like some friendly little spirit. It felt dark. One night I hear on my window. My window is a good 12 feet above the ground. there's no way anybody could have been out there knocking at my window. I had a boyfriend. One day, I was home, and he comes in the kitchen. He comes in the living room. He walks right in front of me in his black leather jacket. I see his face. It's him. He goes in my sister's room. Like 10 minutes goes by, so I call out, "Hey!" No answer. I open my sister's door. You can see he closed it behind him. There's nobody in there. Nobody. So I open the bathroom door. There's nobody in there either. I go to the driveway to see if his car is there. There's no car in the driveway. I was alone in the house. My boyfriend went up into the woods behind the house and came back with this little Charlie Brown tree. He's acting kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, he's acting weirder than usual when he came back from the woods. We decorate the tree, and we're all sitting there trying to, have a nice Christmas. And there is this very heavy buffet. It ended up warping over the years, so you couldn't open the drawers. I mean, the wood was warped, so you couldn't open them anymore. So we're all sitting there, and we're trying to have our Christmas, and out of nowhere, all 4 drawers shot open all at once. My little brother, so he would go up there with his friends a lot and party, and he said one night he was in my room, and he hears on the window. He hears it again. It's clearly a knock. So the next morning, he gets up and his friend was like, "Why did you do that last night?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I woke up and you were standing over me, staring at me, smiling." Ian said, "What are you talking about?" I haven't left that room. I didn't leave the bedroom all night. Nobody really wanted to go up there. We're all kind of talking about it now. We're all going, "Oh my God, like this is not a good place. Like nobody wants to be here. We can't, like nobody wants to go up there." The Native Americans that used to live around the river would not go into the woods. They would only stay around the river because they believed that the woods were cursed and evil and haunted. And there we were living in them. There we were living in them. In that house. I don't know what was in that house.
Welcome to Guerneville, California, on the beautiful Russian River. The Native Americans that used to live here said that the closer you lived to the river, the better, because the deeper you went into the woods, you found evil spirits. Well, guess what? My family bought a cabin about half a mile away from here, deeper into the woods, and we're headed there right now. So I'm here with my former roommate Scott, and we are talking about what happened when we were living together in that cabin. So I want to talk to Scott today about the time that he basically ran into an evil spirit in the woods, more or less. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, that's how I would put it.
So to set it up, this is basically what happened. My sister used to have this cat named Vega. Vega was a Maine Coon, and he was an indoor cat, but he wanted to be an outdoor cat. So he would take off out the door, he would disappear and run, and you'll see at the shots of the cabin, you'll see how close it is to the woods. He would disappear and he ran up into the woods. So I forget why we had to go get him.
It was getting dark.
Okay.
Your sister didn't want him out all night.
Right.
Because he didn't stay out all night.
Right.
And she started really worrying.
Right. So it wasn't coming back.
She was calling and wouldn't come. She was super paranoid. So I took it upon myself to go try to find him.
Right, so the house literally backed right up into these woods, and you went straight up a hill, and if you kept going and going and going, you'd hit a fire trail. But you'd had to go pretty far up to hit that.
Yeah, it was
fire
a
trail.
good 500-600 yards.
And there's nothing in these woods. I mean, there's no houses, there's no people, there's nothing.
Well, I grab my flashlight because it's dark, and I start climbing up the hill trying to find Vega. And I get about 20 yards up the hill and I hear a meow. Oh, just up the hill a ways from me. And so I start calling, Vega, is that you, Vega? And the closer I get to what I think is Vega, every time I get close to him, the bushes literally rustle, and it's like something runs further up the hill to another bush. And I keep hearing the meow.
So you're following the meow.
I'm following the meow. Like I said, it was like it kept going further up the hill and further up the hill. And I kept seeing bushes rustle, and I kept hearing the cat meow. So I finally get up to the top of the hill where Kirsten was talking about where the fire road is. And it was a very odd feeling. I'm out in a wide open area. And then the crickets started, and it was so deafening that I couldn't literally hear myself think. I started panning around with the flashlight. Again, something big from one side of the road came out of the bushes, which I could not see, crossed the road into the other bushes, clearly making noise. The crickets were so loud, I started to get really uneasy, and I started panning around in a 360-degree motion with my flashlight on my shoulder, and that's when I turned around and I saw a silver light orb about 20 feet off the ground, and it startled me so bad that I turned the flashlight off and I ran down the hill as fast as I could through the dark, down a steep hillside, through the woods, where I made it back to the house where the cat was with your sister.
On the porch. Well, the cat was in the house at that time. But I remember when he comes down the hill, he says, he comes down the hill and white as a sheet and says, I couldn't find the cat. And we're like, and he says, this is before, I don't even know if you knew the cat was in the house at this point. But I remember you had said, I couldn't find the cat. I'm so sorry. I chased him all the way through the woods. And she says, the cat came back almost the minute you went up into the woods, and we were screaming, Scott, 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 to come back. He couldn't hear us, and you couldn't have been more than 5 feet in.
Yeah, no, I was.
You couldn't have been more than 5 feet away.
Shouting.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And he never heard a word. Never heard a thing. Are standing across the street from the house where we used to live. We're not going to show the house because it's someone's private residence, so we're not going to do that, but I will say they've fixed it up. What's very interesting to me is we used to have a sign over the door that said the Langstons, and now these people have a sign over the door with their names, which is just, to me, that's just really,
it's kind of bizarre.
It's bizarre. We had a lot of problems with this house. I used to have, after we moved out for years, up until probably a year ago, I used to have nightmares of this place, that we couldn't leave, or that we would go back, that we were always drawn back. And I finally had to go to Will the Witch Doctor and get everything clear. Like, he had to clear this house for me, and he actually did clear this house because it wasn't selling. And he said it was one of the worst places he's ever had to clear. He actually
Toxic.
had to, he said it was toxic. He had to bring a partner in. He had to actually bring a backup and drive up here instead of doing it remotely, because he clears remotely all over the world. But he actually had to drive up here to clear this place. And I know I remember you saying like you would feel drawn to it when you were around here.
When I was, I would come back here sometimes and just sit in the house by myself for some no
reason.
No reason at all. I would just sit in there and like just
Right.
Yeah, it was really strange.
Right. Like drawn to it.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but our friend Megan of Drunk Tarot fame, she had no place to live at some point. She was in between.
That's
That
right.
scared me. Jesus.
I forgot
She was
stayed up
between.
here.
Yeah, she was between places. She couldn't get into her new place, so she said, "Hey, can I stay at your parents' cabin for a minute?" And they said, "Sure, no problem." So she was here for one night, and started having suicidal thoughts. She's not that person. She's never had a suicidal thought in her mind ever. She decided she was going to go for a walk in the woods. She went up the same trail that Scott went up when he was chasing the phantom cat, got lost, was lost for hours, literally like 4 or 5 hours, and was wandering around, and then she actually ended up calling my sister on the phone because she was lost and didn't know how to get out and was freaked out, and somehow got through on the phone up there in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And something scared her. She started running blindly. She ran blindly down the hill, and just so happened popped right out in front of the house on the trail. It was that over there, but it wasn't. But yeah, she popped right out and was so freaked out trying to get the hell out of here that when she went inside, she grabbed all of her shit. When she left, she literally left one of her shoes in the driveway like Cinderella, and drove the hell out and would never come back. Loves Guerneville.
Yeah.
Will never come back to that house. Not that she can, because it's not ours, thank God. So you guys, this is across the street from where we lived. It's literally been abandoned and dilapidated since we bought this place in '92.
Yeah.
Just recently the roof caved in, but people would come and look at this property several times.
Several different property owners that came here to look at their property to see what they were going to do, and
Right.
they never came back.
They never came back. I swear to God, we remember that building being razed. Like, how is it still here? Because I swear to God they tore it down.
I thought they did too.
Yeah.
You would think it's
Right. I swear to God, we drove up here.
kind of a
And when we pulled up, this thing was still here. And all three of us, my cameraman and my buddy here, we were like, wait, I thought they tore that thing down. It's very strange. I mean, obviously we either misremembered it or this place is fully evil. And we were just talking about being in the cabin, seeing things that weren't there, people that weren't there, real people.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw my ex-boyfriend there. He wasn't there. And then Scott was saying that he saw Mr. Santos. So this is where Mr. Santos was born, by the way, you guys.
This is where he came into the
Yep.
picture.
Scott said he would see Santos walking around the house.
I would see him all the time when you would take him to Benicia, and I was the only one there.
Yeah.
And I would always say, "Oh, it's Santos," and then I would remember.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute.
Dog's
took
not
him.
here. So
Yeah.
what did I just see?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I'd see Vega walk by the foot of the bed.
Yeah.
His tail sticking up, and then I look over and he's sleeping on the couch in the other room.
Yeah. Yeah. We have seen
Lots of strange, eerie things
very
went on in
weird
that
shit.
place.
Yep. Okay, I gotta tell you guys this. I have to say this. Before we leave here. We're gonna leave here very soon because I am starting to get real edgy, real antsy, and I don't like it here. And neither does Scotty. I can tell. Cameraman, you don't like it here either. Cameraman is also getting uncomfortable. But we're all starting to get just edgy and antsy and freaked out. But we are going to discuss really quickly. Scott was just telling me a story that I had forgotten about. So, Scotty, take it away.
One morning, I forget what year it was, we were living at the cabin. I was
Right.
working
Hella early in the morning.
I was working at the Embarcadero Center in San Francisco, so I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning to beat traffic to get to the city on time.
Yep.
So I woke up one morning, left my normal time, 3:30, 3:45, kissed Bridget goodbye, left, went to work, no big deal. When I got home that day, she proceeded to tell me this crazy story about after I had left, within a few minutes of me leaving the house, the doorknob to our bedroom started jiggling like someone was trying to get in. She thought it was me or one of the other roommates messing with her. So first she said, for me to come in, and then no one came in. The door continued to jiggle and shake to the point where it got violent. It freaked her out so much that she screamed for them to go away, and in the second she screamed, she said it stopped.
Yeah.
But she said it was like someone was trying to get through that door with everything they had, even though the walls in that house
were paper thin. Literally paper thin.
I could have pushed that door down, no
Oh.
problem.
Not even kicking it, literally
But
and it wasn't locked. I mean, that's the
Nope.
other thing. The door was not
Doors
locked.
didn't lock.
They did not lock. None of the doors in that house locked. We were just talking about this. My bedroom is, 15 feet off the ground.
That's second story.
Yeah. So I'm going to be, again, guys, listen, I want to tell you this. I want to give you kind of some in-the-moment stuff here. We're kind of tromping around the area looking for really good shots, so you can kind of get the gist of what this place looks like and how it feels. And I'm getting edgier and edgier and edgier. The last story we're going to do out here, my cameraman is shaking his head yes. He's like, we got to get out of here. I can tell Scott is like, I'm watching Scott's mood plummet. The vibes out here are gnarly. So, but I do want to say this. The last thing I'm going to say, it's way too quiet out there, dude. It's way too quiet out there.
No birds.
No birds.
There's one bird. I can hear it. Not anymore. No, I hear it. There it is. It's over there. It's not even back there. It's over there. We gotta get out of here. Look at this. Here, cameraman. Just shoot up there, man. This is why. Let me just look at that. It is not okay. Like priest tag. I wore the fucking crucifix for a reason. I got the knowledge here. I got one half people right here. I got a fall protection.
Well, I think I told you I was watching one of those haunting shows on the Discovery Channel.
Yes.
A couple years after that kill incident happened.
Yes.
And this lady, she was like a demonologist or whatever, and they were doing this haunting in this house, and this person was describing what they were seeing, and she said that a lot of times make themselves prone, and they were long silver light orbs. That's what I saw.
Dude, okay, so we're leaving the cabin. This is us driving away. We're driving away, and we were just talking about how, once again, nobody mentions it while we're out there. Yet the minute we get in the car, we're like, so I felt like someone was watching me from inside that house.
Yeah.
I did too. I totally felt like somebody was watching me inside that house.
Well, it's like
Standing in the kitchen, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I had the keys to that house for
forever.
For a while after everyone, and I said sometimes I would pull up there in the middle of the night just to go hang out, and I wouldn't even get out the car.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would make it out the car, and I'd make it halfway across the deck, and then it would sound like there was someone walking around my car.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's been times when I was with Emmy and a couple people, and we stopped, and everyone wanted to get out of the car, and everyone's like, nope, let's get in the car and let's go right now.
No kidding.
Oh yeah, everyone would get freaked out. But then there'd be times I'd pull up there, 1 o'clock in the morning, and like you said, I was telling you earlier, I would just go and sit in the house. It was
And
like
just do nothing.
I would just sit there. Sometimes I'd watch TV. Sometimes I'd just sit there with the lights on.
Oh, God.
It's very strange.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. I just have to say, it's very weird because we had a sign, like a really pretty wooden carved sign on the door that said the Langstons. And now these people have almost the exact same sign with their last name on it. I'm glad, because I want the world to know that is not our house anymore. That person's house. They can deal with that mess. I will say this, it didn't feel as bad to me, the house itself. But
Yeah,
it still felt terrible.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm going to tell you guys, I was telling Scott, I'm wearing my crucifix necklace. I am wearing the bracelets to ward off the evil eye, and I've got my prayer bracelet wrapped around my arm. I'm not messing around. I know better than that. I feel fully protected. I feel like we're all fully protected here. I just typically don't believe in protection, talisman protection, but I do today. We are now getting some expert testimony. I have some photos of say hello, puppy. I have some photos of said cabin in Guerneville, and I've asked the expert, Linda G, the Comanche Psychic, to see what she can get on it, see what she can tell us about what happened there, or why it's so haunted, or if it's a house, or is it the woods, or is it the neighbors, or what's... See what
And they've already heard your stories, because that was really good.
They've already heard my stories ad nauseum. I've repeated them more than a couple times. So I have some photos down here, so she can.
But it's still standing.
It's still standing, but they did alter it a little bit.
Okay, let me check it out.
Do you want the address? Do you want the address?
No.
Okay.
Just the town is enough. Ooh. How old is this place?
Well, it's old. I don't know quite how old, but it's definitely.
Does Bryan or Baker or something like that sound familiar?
Mm-mm.
Did you see anybody who owned it before?
Yes.
Wasn't that name?
I don't remember the guy's name. It could have been. I have to ask my mom.
It's a man that's in there.
Oh, is he still there?
He's still there.
Oh, Jesus. Causing trouble.
He just wants the attention. But that whole woods area has some energy.
It's weird, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys were protected, though.
Oh, wow. Look at
There
that.
was something pretty powerful keeping them away.
So that's
keeping
why
him away.
It didn't get too bad.
Definitely haunted.
Wow.
There's a woman too. It's definitely a man that was upset he died too soon.
Okay, the people we bought it from were old, like 80s.
Okay, but they were still alive.
They were, I think the other guy, because it was two couples that owned the house, I think the other guy died.
In the house.
I believe he may have died in the house.
Okay, because it feels like someone died in the house and hasn't left. But there's energies around the area that aren't related to this guy.
Yes!
There's energies around. And it feels like it could be a woman.
Okay,
Did anybody say they saw a woman?
I think I know what you're picking up.
What?
The woman next door is insane. Clinically insane. She's nuts.
But is it from being haunted?
I don't know. I think the woods are definitely haunted. She's insane and the house is haunted, so it's like three different things.
Okay.
But she used to break into our house and pull out her hair and put it on the walls.
I think her insanity, well, she's insane, but I think it might have been something. How long has she been living there?
Forever.
Is she dead now?
I don't know. We don't know. She might still be there.
I feel like she's not there. But she brought some of that mojo, and it feels like she could see that woman. I'm feeling there's a woman in the woods.
And she does not know this. There was a house. There are two houses on that property. This house, and there was a house previous to that burned to the ground. And I used to have nightmares of a female burning up on that property.
Because the woman is like in her nightgown walking around lost.
Yes, she was in her nightgown and she burned alive. And she was young though, very young, like almost teenager, like not too old. So get this, you don't know this either. When Scott and I went back just not that long ago to film all this footage, we were driving away and he said, you know what's weird? And I never told him I had these nightmares. I said, what's weird? He goes, I used to have this dream of a little girl burning alive on the property.
I see a long hair with a nightgown walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's a man in the house. It sucks. You think he's still there?
I feel he feels old too, like he's from a long time ago. And he was very, he liked things his way.
Eesh.
He was a nasty guy.
So you think that's why he's doing the paranormal activity?
Yeah, but he's not like trying to hurt anybody.
Right.
He just wants to be known. The woods have that girl in it. But is there some Indian thing that happened out there? Because it feels like some sort of massacre took place.
Okay. So this is so weird that you're picking this up. It's crazy.
Right.
I mean, it's not because she's the best. But two things. One, when my sister and I'll tell you another story. We realized the house didn't feel right to us. So we called the church. And a man answered the phone. This is creepy. This is now that you said there's a man in the house too. This is creepy as shit. A man answers the phone and says, yeah, I'm the priest. I'll come out and bless your house. I'll be there tomorrow. So we give him the address. He gives us a time. The time comes and goes. Guy doesn't show up. All day the guy doesn't show up. So the next day we call the same church. A woman answers the phone. And she says, that's impossible. Number one, I'm the only one that answers this phone. No man answers this phone.
Oh my
Number two,
God.
none of the priests were in residence yesterday because they were all at a retreat. And number three, there will be a charge for Father so-and-so to come out. And I said, that's not the name that we were given yesterday. And we gave her the name. She says, there's no one here by that name.
Oh my God.
I mean, what? Come on, right? So we start researching the house.
Okay.
And we find out that the Native Americans that lived on the Russian River would not go into the redwoods because they said that they were haunted by evil spirits. That there was some kind of evidence of some kind of massacre. Not directly where the house is, but
near it.
Yep.
That's what's in the woods.
I always felt like someone was watching me from the woods.
Yeah.
Every night I would close all the curtains in the kitchen.
There can be evil in the woods.
Yeah. So you've heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. The expert has spoken. Thanks, Linda. Right? Right. Those are all real stories. Special thanks to Jacinta Higgins, our main sponsor for this program.